Yeah, you're a little bossy this morning. Uh, when I saw you in my kitchen, you didn't even say, "Good morning, Eric.
I
How
didn't.
you doing?" You just looked at me and went, "Uh, you're wearing a dark blue shirt. You always wear like dark clothes, dark blue or dark gray. Can you not wear something colorful for the show?" And yeah, you just ridiculed my wardrobe. So I'm an overachiever. So I come in with this bright yellow neon shirt. What's funny is on the camera, it's not even as bright as it
It's
really
worse.
is.
It's neon.
It is
It's
it
highlighter.
it is yeah. That looks like a faint soft yellow. This is a very bright, burn your eyeballs out yellow. You
Think
can see me. Like if I go outside right now, you'll see me wherever you
you'll
are.
think he's doing construction
Yeah.
on the road.
is he is he on prison release doing construction work?
Thank you for obliging me.
Hey, I'm here to help. Welcome to the Olive Branch, the podcast where two siblings from a small southern town in the heart of the Bible Belt, the Rocket City, Huntsville, Alabama, try to bridge the gap between left and right America.
Or at least avoid strangling each other while trying. I'm Audra. I'm your left wing host. I'm a wife, intentionally childless, liberal, atheist, socialist, communist, and I am unemployed but a caretaker for our mother.
And I'm Eric, your right wing host, a husband, father, conservative, born again Christian, and proud engineer with multiple engineering degrees. I've spent over 2 decades leading adult Sunday school, missional communities, life groups, small groups, connecting people to God, teaching from God's holy word.
And I've spent over 2 decades as a dungeon master, guiding heroes through the mystical realms of Dungeons and Dragons. And I have numerous credit hours at a local community college, so.
Hey, that counts. So, yeah, between the preacher and the heathen,
The Bible and the battle map.
we've got absolutely no qualifications to be sharing political opinions with the masses.
But we're gonna do it anyways.
Let's do this already.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, what are we talking about today?
Today we're gonna talk about why the left are left and why the right are right. As far as what makes them think that way, why they all have like a monolith
Yeah.
of ideology that the majority of the left fall under.
And if just so you don't have to hit pause and go Google it, a monolith is a single lith. We've already covered that. So just so you know, before we dig into that, let me tell you, I've been watching some of our episodes just to ramp up the views. It like every time I watch one of our episodes, it like doubles the number of views that we have. Usually because you've probably watched it just to edit it, and then I had to I just watched it. So anyway, but one, I think we've improved. We're getting better in our dynamic. But something that I can't stand about myself that I noticed that I say like 478 times a minute. It's stupid. I'm tired of it. I'm gonna fight it.
My worst thing is we both are bad about starting our say our sentence before the other person officially ended theirs. So I'll be trailing off and you start chiming in and it overlaps. So if I need to edit out something because
Okay.
then like I can't stop right there.
Yeah, you can't slice it because it looks like you just cut somebody off.
Yeah.
Oh wow. All right, so we just need to be a little more
Take a breath.
considerate.
Be intentional.
Yeah, I do think that. Like I do speak in group settings a lot, and I think I do. I want to say. I guess I was ignorant and unaware of how many times I said Um, it's a disease. I'm taking medication for it. Or I should. And I bet there's probably a prescription medication that's available in this day and age. Let me see. But what I was going to say is I do think in a group setting I do much better because I do intentionally look at the audience and I read body language and I try to understand, hey, are they grabbing it? Did they get it when I said that? Oh, I see some confused faces. Let me back off. Let me elaborate. Let me come at it from another angle. With this, it's very sterile. It's very cold. It's very mechanical. I'm looking at I got a light in my face. I got a weird camera. I got a. It's just different. It's more. I feel like it forces me into a world of being less authentic, because I'm not connecting with real people. You're real people. You're a person, but you're way out there. I can't see you. Where are you? I don't see you. So it's just a little. It feels like it's more in the realm of acting than I was going to say mentoring. Usually in a group setting, if I'm teaching or something like that, it's kind of a form of mentoring or teaching something like that. That's where you have like a legit connection, and you're trying to find where are they at? How can I help them get one step above where they are to help them achieve their goals? And this is just a little. This is more challenging for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I actually was glad that you wanted to do this podcast because I've wanted to do some things like this before, but trying to do it on my own, it's even worse talking to yourself.
Oh, I bet. Oh, I
Like
bet.
I could have good ideas, but like I would say my main strength is talking to people who disagree with me or don't understand, and then I can usually ask questions and kind of veer us both into mutual understanding.
I will say it is your strength. I've talked to so many people on the left who have opposing views from me, and I think they are all the same person, and their name is Bruce Banner
Okay.
because they turn into the Incredible Hulk when I talk political stuff with them. You don't turn into the Incredible Hulk. You're not even the She Hulk. You're just a very respectful, smart, uh, good person. Um, Even though Jesus said none are good but God above, but that's another topic. Uh, you're great. You you're not a monolith. You may be a monolith. I wanted to say you are a megalith, like a
Okay.
which is a large stone. But you are singular because I don't know of another. Is there anyone out there that has left wing views that thinks they're on par with this sweet lady? If you are a rare breed and identify yourself. Well, the real Slim Shady, please stand up. I would love to see. I don't know anybody that's on par with you.
Yeah.
You are
I'm
great.
sure we could find content creators out there, but they don't get the virality or pushed into algorithms as much because they're more neutral.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The our day and age, if it bleeds, it leads. They're looking for something very controversial, something very contentious. You're not. You're
I'll
great.
post a link in the video to it. Watch it afterwards. But Ryan George has a funny time travel video where
I
all the
love time travel.
where all the different dimensions go to like this convention and they're showing like the unique thing from our world, and they're talking about wasps and one and different things. I think I sent it to you. And then he's talking about algorithms and echo chambers, and it's just a very funny breakdown of how we got here.
Yeah, yeah, interesting. Love time travel. I remember when Back to the Future came out when I was a kid. I was in heaven. I was like, this is the best. I can't believe we have a movie that shows all this. And I've told my kids, I've kind of done surveys periodically. Hey, what do you want me to do when I invent or discover the science of time travel? I can go back. What do you want me to do? And so I get my task list, so I'm ready to go. But uh, but back to the Incredible Hulk. Speaking of, we actually had lunch this week with our liberal brother, and he does turn into the Incredible Hulk. But he actually did very well, relatively speaking. Somehow politics came up, and usually this is a very touchy subject. And I want to say, I think through this process, it's helped me be a lot more gracious. It's helped me to realize that my crap stinks and that I don't know everything. So because I know I have a void of information, some of my conclusions are not as, rock solid as I probably thought they were a long time ago. And because I'm more gracious, I'm exactly that. I'm more gracious to him. So when he's uh, tumultuous, if you will, I can okay, I'll
When he's
calm down.
passionately explaining.
Yes. Uh, Passionately explaining how he's about to physically crush me. Uh, I can just calmly, okay, yeah, I see where you're coming from, as I fear for my life. He does got, what has he got me for about 150 pounds?
He is 6'3" or 6'4", I think, and he's built like a refrigerator. Just a naturally intimidating presence. He's the biggest and the strongest, and he doesn't even exercise.
Yeah, he's like he's like the giant in what's it called?
The Princess Bride.
The Princess Bride. Don't ever hesitate on naming that movie like you forgot it. You can never forget that movie. Best ever made. Anyway, it actually went relatively well. I think because I was less, I didn't have the chips on my shoulder as much, and I was more gracious. I could help navigate the discussion a little bit to where we got off of like something that was pointed to some where we had common ground.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't turn into the Incredible Hulk. His eyes started turning green and his shirt did rip, but he never fully turned into the Hulk. He calmed back down. He put his glasses back on. He doesn't wear glasses, but he was Dr. Bruce Banner again.
Yeah.
And he apologized later.
Yeah.
So sorry I got so heated or something other. And I said, but you did it. We did it. And he actually apologized for bringing up some political points.
Mm-hmm.
And I told him, no, you don't have to apologize for that. You have opinions. You have thoughts. You have passions. It's okay. It's good to talk about these things. We just need to practice doing that in a manner that's respectful, and we got through it. So I'm glad you shared those things.
Yeah.
So it's good. I said we're getting better. It wasn't perfect, but we're getting better.
Yeah.
So we actually all three did a virtual or symbolic high five and agreed. Man, we're getting better at this. So I'm excited.
Yeah, I think it's working out.
Yeah. So that's good. So this was actually. I was going to say it's my idea. Technically, it wasn't. Earlier this year, this spring, I was getting a neighbor of mine to really disciple me. He's a retired engineer. He used to, or in his retirement, he was a systematic theology professor at a local Bible college. And just talking to him about some of these endeavors, and he actually challenged me to sometimes we want to look at the mechanics of, particular hot topics, whether it's immigration, racism, abortion, and we nitpick arguments. But he's like, it would be good if you could go underneath the surface. And I was like, what's there? What's there that's driving that, that's thrusting that? Because if you look at it, the left really across the board vote a certain way on all these politics.
Yeah.
And they're always opposing to the right. And they're consistent. So it's like there's something else that's steering the ship.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, well, what is that? So he challenged me to kind of investigate that. And I don't know that I've really researched it thoroughly, but we've had some discussions prior to this. And I was like, well, let's just make a show about it. Let's just talk about it. Of what I've seen, the left tend to care about the poor and powerless. Mm-hmm. And they're like, the focus is on who's hurting, who doesn't have equal opportunity. Now, sometimes it sways beyond that, which I think is very, I was going to say wrong. Wrong's a strong word. It's just not the best path, but looking for equal outcome, that's definitely going to break, and we can talk more about that. But the focus is on the poor and powerless, how to make sure whatever disadvantages they have, whether it's their community, whether it's legislation, policy, whatever it is, that they have that stepping stone, that to get up to an equal launching pad, if you will, and that makes sense in a nutshell. That kind of makes sense, but the right will be more focused on. Um, I don't have it perfectly listed, but something more about individual responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
Just character, discipline, uh, practices, best practices, stuff like that. Grit. If you can push somebody into that, that's going to help them overcome anything and everything, regardless of hardships, challenges, and whatnot. So that's it in a nutshell. And what's funny is, so I'm a professing Christian. This is my sister who's a professing atheist. The Christian values really push what she's saying.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, that's basic. Second greatest commandment is to love your neighbor as yourself. And to break that up, what does that look like? What does that look like with skin on? How do you love yourself?
Mm-hmm.
Do you write yourself love letters? Do you do you give yourself a big hug? No. You acknowledge your needs, and then you use all your resources to meet your needs. You take care of yourself. That's it. If you're hungry, you get something to eat. If you don't have something to eat, you go buy something to eat. If you don't have enough money to buy something to eat, you go work to have money to buy food to get something to eat. That's what you do. If you're cold, you put on a coat. Same process. It's all about using your resources, your time, your energy, your skills, your knowledge, your strength, all of it to take care of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So Jesus says, flip it. If I'm going to love her, I need to acknowledge her needs. Now use all my resources to meet those needs. That is how you effectively, functionally practice love. So
socialism.
So if you say it just like that, it does sound like that. However, there's a rub. There's a rub, and you don't have kids. I've got two mini kids. Actually, I got four kids with a wide age range. Right now, it goes from 33 down to 14, with an 18-year-old and a 21-year-old. Bottom line is, the whole point of raising kids is for them to be strong and independent.
Mm-hmm.
You want them to not need me. I texted my son yesterday. He's 18. He's got all these ideas of what he's going to do, and I told him, oh, listen, I want you to I want you to start building credit.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, what does that mean? I want, so let's get a credit card. And if we got any Dave Ramsey fans, calm down. Dave Ramsey says no credit cards, but this is a way to build credit.
Mm-hmm.
So if he wanted to, say, get his own apartment, he's qualified, and he can do that without a cosigner. And he immediately just jumped back and was like, well, I got to do all that. Why don't you just cosign and it's done? And I'm like,
if I die tomorrow.
Well, I didn't say that. I just said in general, I don't do that. I don't do that. I said, let me teach you how to become independent.
Mm-hmm.
That's my goal. I want him to not need me.
Yeah.
I want him to be strong and independent by himself. So there's a rub here. It's like, well, that sounds harsh. That sounds tough. That sounds, some people may even say mean. Because do I have the power to co-sign? Yeah. But I just want him, the more responsibility he can take on, the stronger he's going to become, which meets my goal.
Mm-hmm.
Which, it may be a painful process for him, but in the long run, it's going to be so much better.
It's also better for him to go through it with the training wheels of having a parent there to guide him and support him, than for you to evaporate tomorrow. And then he's going through the struggle without training wheels.
Yeah.
He's figuring out how to get stuff on his own.
Yes. And to me, that just kind of bleeds into other things of, of what let me just emphasize, I really believe two-parent homes, a mom and a dad, is the ideal perfect. It's not perfect probably, but it's the ideal situation. You need a mom and a dad to parent kids. Moms generally are more nurturing
Mm-hmm.
and more gracious. Um, 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 gosh, cut that out. Actually, no. Watch it and ridicule me. Tell me how stupid I sound when I
Everyone in the
talk.
comments, every time he says it, just type in the comments. So it can be like, wow, we got a lot of engagement on this post. And it's really just people making fun of him.
Online trolls, activate. Type Do you know what I'm talking about? The old cartoon. There's a cartoon that was Wonder Twins.
Oh yeah, Wonder Twin powers activate.
Wonder Twin powers activate, and one was shape of, and then the other was a form of.
Usually the female would become like a lion or some like aggressive animal, and there's a joke that the brother always becomes like a bucket of water or something very random that is neutral at best.
Yeah. So whenever I've talked about that, when I was a little more obese, I would say shape of a donut. Oh crap! I'm already in that shape. Wasted it. Uh, but anyway, all right. Let's go back. What were we talking about? How in the world are we talking about Wonder Twins? Oh, we're talking about the trolls. Yeah, activate. Write your write all the ums. I do think so there's a rub between loving your kid slash pushing them off the edge so that they can fly.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it's kind of tough. And really in all of politics, there's a spread between and kind of overlapping with the Christian perspective. You have mercy on one end and you have justice on the other. And we'll all say that justice, we all need justice, right? I mean, that just sounds just and right. Probably because just is the root word. But then you have mercy on the other end of the spectrum. Well, what is that? Mercy is when you don't receive due punishment. Punishment for what? For wrong or bad behavior. How do you have both? The rub is you can't have both. You can't.
You can't have unfettered both.
What does that mean?
You can't have unlimited mercy and get justice.
Yeah, right. So yes. So that's the rub, is how to, in some situations you want to say, hey, this person did this crime, offer them mercy.
Mm-hmm.
Because the circumstances are complicated.
Yeah.
Hey, I just killed a man on my front porch. Give him mercy. That doesn't sound right. Well, the guy just raped my
dog.
My dog. Which is a little weird. I did videotape it just because I knew it'd go viral and get all these likes. No, this is. Where is this going?
I might cut this.
But the point is, some situations are complicated where it does it. Okay, by the letter of the law, yeah, he should be prosecuted and convicted, but it's complicated. Mercy seems more appropriate here.
Mm-hmm.
I think what's sad is our law doesn't really make a lot of room for that. I think judges kind of have the power to have that leeway, because they'll say that they could give a range of punishment, X years versus Y years, and that's a spectrum of mercy, because it could have been a lot worse, but I don't know. It's just hard. So anyway, I've talked a lot. What do you think about this, about the left and how they care about the poor and powerless, almost more than the masses? It's like, who cares about the masses? We got to make sure this fringe out here has a safety net, even if it's in the form of a hammock, and a lot of people will intentionally abuse it.
I don't think it's as fringe as you think it is.
Okay.
I think statistically, I want to look it up right now, but I'm not going to.
Thank you.
I think
because then we're going to do an hour and a half arguing over statistics and truth in this crazy world.
That's what you guys really came here for.
That's actually one of the reasons I wanted to do this topic, because we're just talking about basic principles and value systems, regardless of the stats.
The broad strokes.
Yes.
No, but I think poverty and middle class, lower class, and upper class or whatever, I believe poverty is the largest group.
Yeah.
I think it's larger than middle class or very comparable to middle class. And middle class today has way less buying power than it did 20 years ago.
Yeah.
So we're closer in middle class to lower class. So it's affecting more and more people statistically.
Yeah. So you bring up an interesting topic. Start typing. Gosh. I need y'all to come here and sit here and be an audience, so I can ignore this camera and the stupid light, and I can look at you in the faces and see your soul and know what are you thinking? Are you with me? So, all right, let me tell you what I was going to say. Poverty is an interesting thing. I've heard people say, well, if this group of people who are very poor,
mm-hmm.
if they won the lottery, actually, I don't even have to do a hypothetical. We could look up examples of very poor people who won the lottery within like 1 year or a very short period of time, could be a couple of years. They've gone through their millions and they are bankrupt and poor again.
Mm-hmm.
Why? It's because of their life practices, their value systems, how they roll. That they're doing what poor people do. And then if you go to people who are very rich, very wealthy, I've seen people say testimonies, they in an interview, hey, if you lost everything today, bankrupt, all your finances gone, how will you respond? They say, give me 18 months. 18 months, I'll have it all back. Because they know how to do it. They know how to, I was going to say work the system. That sounds manipulation. It sounds like there's a negative connotation there. But essentially, life is a system. I've said something that some people don't like, but it clicks with me. Life is a game.
Mm-hmm.
Life is a game. Every game has rules. Learn the rules, abide by the rules, win the game. It's simple. It's very simple. A lot of people in the spiritual world don't like that because it makes it sound like if you just do all the rules right, you'll win. Essentially, like you can earn your way to heaven, which is contrary to the Christian faith, that justification is by grace through faith. It's not of yourselves. It's a gift of God, not of works. So no one can boast. It's Galatians chapter 2, verses 8 and 9. Look it up.
Stay on topic.
Stay on topic. Here's something that I sent a text to. I have a group text for my whole family. I sent this to them this week because my son, he's 18, just graduated high school. He has a part-time job. I've been teaching this to my kids forever. Forever meaning a decade. Doesn't 10 years equal infinite years? Yeah, that's what I was thinking. But it's 3 rules to avoid poverty. Do you know what they are?
Mm-mm.
3 rules to avoid poverty. 1, graduate high school. 2, get a full-time job. 3, wait until you're 21 to get married and have kids. You do those 3 rules, statistically, you will avoid poverty. If you break any one of those, you will probably slip into poverty world. So it's just basic guardrails to navigate your life, to achieve the goals that you want to achieve. Mm-hmm. Nobody wants to be poor. Why? It's not so you can have a bunch of material things and be materialistic. It's just so you have the resources to love yourself better and be able to love others better. So um, anyway, my daughter, who's 21, who has graduated high school, she has got a full-time job. She's engaged to be married. She has not procreated, so it's good. Um, it's good. Anyway, she replied, "I'm on track." My son, he gave, I don't know, some sort of negative response. Oh, jobs and something other. And anyway, he's got a great attitude. So, all right. What do you think of that? What do you think of the 3 rules?
They're a little
conservative.
No, I was gonna say concise. How surprising! Concise. They're a little limited in scope.
Yeah.
But I think for your family and your kids, that's a good, guidelines for them.
Well, I would argue that, one, it's good to be concise. Nobody wants a 200-page document that has all these things, like the Bible. Nobody likes the Bible. It's only the best sold book in all of history. But those principles I think are very generic, that are applicable to everybody, that are helpful to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So what's funny is you could do a quick survey in your head, just of all the people that fall into the poor category. Did they violate any of these 3 rules? And they probably did. Probably 100%. And it's just the way it works. So if you have these guardrails and try to stay within those guardrails, I don't know, it's just going to help you.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's fair.
It's just basic guidance and it's not judgmental towards anybody. It's not criticizing anybody. It's just helping you do the stepping stones to
give you the best leg up.
Yeah, exactly. So all that to say, it's hard to kind of encourage this, because it forces a little responsibility on somebody. What do you mean can't have kids? I wanna practice the sport of procreation. I want to have all kinds of sex outside the bonds of marriage. Don't be surprised if you get the fruit of the sport of procreation. That's what happens. Don't be surprised. So that's why another tenet of the Christian faith is don't do that. Don't have fornication. Don't have sex outside the bonds of marriage. Don't do that. Wait till you get married. Raising a child with a parent, with a spouse, is going to be so much easier, so much better. And it's not just better for you, it's going to be better for the kid.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyway. What do you think?
I think abstinence education is proven not to be effective, and there's higher rates of teenage birth in areas where they do abstinence only. However, explaining the technicalities of how you get pregnant and allowing contraceptive and counseling and stuff like that allows for less unwanted pregnancies and less abortions and less teenage pregnancies.
So, I can't remember if I've said this on this show or not, but let me just hit it right now, because it really goes. My wife, like, my kids can't stand me saying fornication is a sin. I feel like such an old school, Southern Baptist.
I think you mentioned this in the last episode.
Yeah, let me hit it real fast. But my wife says it's a spin off that. And she says, kids, it is very, very important who you procreate with.
Mm-hmm. That is fair.
So that kind of, it just registers a little different. And the whole point is, if you do procreate, you are now going to have a relationship, whether it's through marriage, whatever, almost a forced marriage that maybe is based on something not as strong that you really want in a healthy marriage. But you're going to force a relationship to co-parent this child, even if you're living in separate homes and not married, that could be contentious and divisive. and just hard. So don't don't be surprised if that happens if you practice the sport of procreation. Um, and you could, because that's a world that you could adopt, and there ain't nothing you can do about it. Unless you then go into the option of abortion, which is a whole other matter that is going to have
it's its own stressors and
yes
drawbacks.
Right.
You had a video you wanted to watch.
Oh yeah.
I actually want to get something else. I should have got it up earlier. Give me 1 second. All right, let's watch the video you sent me, and then I want to show you something in the comments of that video.
Yeah, it'd be great.
Let me see. All right, it's gonna start.
Ooh. Sometimes you have to let people suffer. Interference delays learning. Most people don't make mistakes by accident, at least not twice.
I have to give a disclaimer for this.
Yeah.
I hate this video. Not the content. Content's fine.
You don't like the cartoon?
No, I don't like people using computer programs to steal other people's intellectual property and then get clicks and traffic on the internet.
Oh, I didn't even know what...
This isn't the person who said that. If you go to their page, there's tons of different clips of different content creators, and they just have an animation made for other people's intellectual property.
Oh, so they're...
And I was trying to find who originally did this. There's like 14,000 people who have reposted this in one form or another in the past 2 months.
So, but let me, so you're saying the content as far as the verbiage and who's saying it is another source, and they just stole it.
Yes.
Put some fancy animation behind it, and now pushing it off as their own.
Correct.
Which will get them their own feed and viral type,
That's evil.
Well,
I don't like it.
Okay, well, hang on a second. Are we not doing the same thing right now by showing that?
There is a law for that, which is, I can't think of the name of it, but you can do coverage of other people's material.
Yeah.
As long as you contribute more than 50% new material. And I can reference other people's stuff.
Yeah.
But even audio clips, there's certain platforms you can't do more than 15 seconds at a time before it boots it.
Yeah.
Because you're using too much of their stuff. And you have to chime in every 15 seconds or else you'll see...
Oh, really?
People do that, reaction videos on YouTube and stuff.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, like you can... I can't think of what it's called. There's a term. But you basically can cover or do parody of or dissect the concept of something.
Yeah.
And reference it.
Yeah, I don't... I'm not trying to pawn anything off as my own. I just thought this was a cool video that articulated, I guess, the premise of our show good. I don't care who gets the attention or who gets the acknowledgement. I'm not a master bibliography person.
My 3 years of literary magazine are showing up. That's plagiarism.
You know what's silly is I'm a master. That's all I do is plagiarize. I very rarely have an original thought, which is sad. It's actually been a conviction of mine. Everything I have is either a regurgitation of something cool that I think I found in the Bible, or it's a cool video like this. So I do think that's an issue though in our day and age. Is there's so much content that we're available for, and then now, especially with AI, we contract everything out. We pawn everything off to.
I don't.
Well, okay, she doesn't, to come up with an original thought, or we replace the task of coming up with an original thought by just leveraging something else, which is usually under the category of confirmation bias. We're just trying to find things to substantiate what we already believe, and we don't even know why we believe it. We need to be able to sit down and do some soul searching and go, why do I really believe this? Why do I believe this?
Yeah.
Not just, hey, well, it's endorsed by that person, that person, that person. So what? So, I don't know, it's an interesting point.
But this is plagiarized. I don't know who originally said it. I couldn't find the original author because there was like different X posts about it. There were different TikToks.
Yeah.
There were different YouTube channels. The oldest one I could find was 2 months ago, and I want to say the person had like a South African accent, and I almost used that video instead because at least it's the oldest, so it's closer to the source. But nowhere I found did they credit the original author or the original person.
Now listen, South African accent is probably hands down the best accent.
Should I play that video instead of this one?
No, due to time, but I do think that's something...
I'll link it for you.
I do think that's something we should debate at some point.
What's the best accent on Earth?
Yes. It's very important.
Okay. I'm going to continue playing it.
Go.
They choose. They ignore warnings. They repeat patterns they already know lead nowhere. And they expect someone else to absorb the consequences for them. When you constantly try to save people, you rob them of one thing that actually changes their behavior. Experience. Psychology shows that real learning happens through direct consequence, not advice. Pain creates memory. You can explain the same lesson 1,000 times, but until someone feels it, nothing sticks. That's why people make the same choices even after you warn them. They're not confused, they're choosing comfort over growth. The let them suffer mindset isn't cruelty, it's a boundary. It's understanding that their path is theirs, and your job isn't to try and rescue everyone from decisions they knowingly make. Trying to carry everyone else's consequences will eventually destroy you. It creates resentment, burnout, and emotional exhaustion because you're taking in responsibility for outcomes that were never yours to manage. Letting go doesn't mean you don't care. It means you care enough to let reality teach the lesson instead of you playing savior. Some people only change after life corrects them, and that correction won't happen if you keep stepping in front of it. So let them suffer, not out of spite, but out of wisdom, because growth delayed by rescue is growth that is denied. A healthy mind is a healthy life.
Dang. So did that run longer than 15 seconds, and are we going to...
We're not popular enough for YouTube to get mad at us.
Very fair point. So I thought that was interesting. Mm-hmm. It articulates my position, I think, pretty well.
I agree with that position on a personal level.
Okay.
I do think the government should have safety nets people can avail to themselves.
Yeah. So the rub is the right believes the same thing. The right, but that's just it. The rub is this: how does that safety net not become a hammock? So, because and what I mean by that is, we need to make sure it's a safety net. When they fall, they don't get injured or permanently injured and not be able to recover. We don't want it to be a hammock where they stay there and rest and rot. So that's the rub. I think of...
I don't think that statistically is an issue.
Oh, I think it's definitely an issue.
It's like less than 12%.
Okay, I don't know all the stats. Okay, let's do this. Because I see a snag where we're about to start arguing statistics.
Let me say something. I agree with you.
That's what I'm at, on principle.
On principle.
Yeah, okay. So
but it's also not an issue. You know, that's what...
And I got you. So you're just saying, if it's not...
I do agree we shouldn't have people taking government services and using it for their lifestyle and not contributing to society.
Yeah. Okay, well then that's good.
I do agree with that. Let me word it better.
But to your point, you're saying if it's not, let's don't fix a problem that doesn't exist. If I'm voicing a problem, if it's not a statistically noticeable problem, why even fix it?
Okay. Yeah, and that's kind of the thought process is,
okay, if
there are a line of hungry kids and you can pass out free lunch to them.
Yeah.
So I'm giving out a lunch, but after 9 kids, there's a grown adult with a full bank account who just walked out of not Ruth Chris, I'm thinking of Texas Day Brazil, that just walked out of Texas Day Brazil, all you can eat steak.
Yeah.
And they get a free lunch.
Yeah.
do you want to stop the whole process and take back the lunch from the other 9 who are hungry kids that need the food?
Yeah.
Just because that dude is breaking in line and being a butthead? For me, I would rather give 9 lunches to people that need it and let that dude be a butthead.
Yeah.
Than, no, everyone should starve so somebody doesn't get a little bit more than they need.
Sure. And I'll say confidently, let me just do a broad stroke with the right's position. I don't think they would say totally kill all lunches to these needy, hungry kids, but they will say let's focus on this process and let's see if we can put up some guardrails to prevent people from abusing the system, so those resources aren't wasted on these criminals, these people who are abusing the system for their own selfish gain, which is taking our limited resources from helping the needy. So like a modern day application, I don't know if you saw the latest feed, like JD Vance is spearheading, I guess what's evolved from Doge. Doge started out trying to look at waste and fraud, and it did its course, and it's, salvaged billions of dollars, which is great. You're saying no?
I don't think so. I could be wrong. I haven't looked into it, but my knee jerk, the information I got from it was it was mostly data farming of United States citizens for tech companies and AI.
So we can talk about it later, but my understanding is Doge salvaged billions of dollars. There's actually a website that shows the total quantity and a line item number of different fraud schemes or wasted schemes that was discontinued, that stopped the output of many billions of dollars. I don't remember the exact quantity. I want to say it was to the tune of like maybe even $100 billion, which is a lot of money. But the bottom line, JD Vance is now spearheading a similar. It's got a fancy name, I think. I done forgot what it's called, but it's waste and fraud in it within America. Well, one thing they're looking at is food stamps. So the federal government issues billions of dollars to all the states to issue food stamps. Well, when this was started, it was based off of just need, people coming forward saying they need food stamps. The process to qualify them was little to non-existent. Essentially the honor system. And they have found they are pumping out billions with a B.
When you say dollars. When it was started, do you think it's still kind of the honor system now?
Yeah, yes. That's what JD Vance recently this week said, our process does not even vet that these people exist.
That is inaccurate.
Okay, well, here, text the Vice President of the United States and tell him he's wrong.
JD Vance, get in the comments. I'm going to tell you right now, in order to apply for food stamps, you have to have multiple in-face interviews, and you have to prove that you are working, you're not getting aid from other people, nobody else is giving you money, and that you're trying to look for work, and that you are destitute.
So I think
and the majority of the people that work for Walmart are one of the highest number of people that are on government assistance, which is basically saying we're using our tax dollars as government assistance to subsidize Walmart's revenue. Their shareholders get tons of money and they don't have to pay their people because the government will do it.
Interesting. My understanding is the way he worded it is the federal government's pushing billions of dollars into this program. The states are issuing it. So I have not researched this, but it implied like the states have different processes.
And that is fair.
So
I don't like multiple states.
So you may be more familiar with, say, Alabama and how they do it. And maybe Alabama has a good rigid process. He made it sound like there's holes throughout the states where it's not as rigorous and there's a lot of abuse, a lot of fraud where people are abusing the system.
I don't think food stamps is like that. I will say, my mother, who I manage all of her financial and medical stuff, there has been stretches of years that I don't know that she's talked to the government. And she gets Social Security every month. So I'm like, this is one of those situations where if Audra was good enough at juggling and keeping up pretenses and not being completely transparent, maybe my mom could have died 2 years ago and I could be getting her money.
Exactly.
And that does happen some.
Exactly.
And it's usually people who are still in poverty. Which statistically, like I talked about earlier, the middle class and lower class make up like 90% of the population.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So what's cool is, hey, a while ago we were talking, I saw you raise our new prop.
It's an olive branch.
We have an olive branch, but you never gave it to me. You just kept it. Is our first handoff of a symbolic, well, actually literal olive branch going to be you throw it at me?
Eric, I would like.
This podcast is not going as well as I thought
I'm not
it
good
would.
at my job. I also wanted to say, when you're talking about kids and stuff, I agree with, which I don't have kids, so everyone wants to hear my opinion. I agree with you on parenting. I think your job for anyone who is dependent on you is to make them as independent as possible in case you evaporate.
Yeah, well, we know.
Eventually you will.
Yeah.
Best case scenario, you will die before them.
I mean, we don't have to argue statistics, but I do think the probability of me dying is close to 100%.
It's up there.
I will probably die.
Death and taxes.
Yeah, it's true. So we need to prepare for that and train our children to live without us.
Mm-hmm.
And in your situation, you're actually caring for your parent.
Mm-hmm.
So you're strong enough to not only take care of yourself and your home front, but now also your parent. That's where every child needs to be, I believe. I think that because of the circle of life, that's just how it goes. And so we just need to all prepare for that.
Mm-hmm.
So because of that, I offer you an olive branch.
Thank
and notice
you,
how the first time I do it nice, I do it respectful, and I hand it off to her where she grabs it. I need to go check my arm out where I got injured because she threw hers at me.
Here's the olive branch I was trying to give
the
you
left. How the left.
Intolerant left.
Were you going to offer me an olive branch on something that we agreed on in principle, though?
Yeah, I agreed on your take on the parenting, and also we agree on food stamps and stuff. It should be.
Thank you.
An exception, not a rule of how
you didn't hand it to me perfectly where it was upright. You had it backwards.
Here you are, Eric. Well, you have your hand out like it has.
I'm trying to get it in the camera. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Well, we need obviously more practice at this.
We'll work it out.
It's hard to offer the political opponents an olive branch.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Let me try to find the comment in that video.
Yeah.
That I thought was hilarious because I completely agree with it.
Ooh, man. Okay. Oh, perfect.
All right, guys. Here is the comment. And it says, "You are stupid, Audra. You just got rid of it."
That is so mean of them to say.
You are so stupid, Rose.
You're stupid, Rose.
There it is. Okay. Word of God says giving to those in need is like giving to God. Mm-hmm. Love covers, love protects, love keeps on record. I'm right by the microphone. I might be yelling.
Oh, okay.
Eric, you read it.
Okay, sure. Okay. And we're showing this person's name without their permission. Is that okay?
They put it on the internet.
Oh, they put it on the internet. There you go. Word of God says, giving to those in need is like giving to God. And I agree. Because Jesus said, when you've done whatever you've done to the least of these, you've done unto me. Love covers, love protects, love keeps no record of wrong. he's reading 1 Corinthians chapter 13.
The love book? Is that what you called it?
It's the love chapter.
Okay.
Yeah, the love chapter. Think about the service of love and help you give your children in their growth or your parents gave to you. Imagine this advice as someone is drowning in front of you. Success happens with help, input, service from others on the way. No such thing as 100% self-success. Watching a spirit suffer and you
could have stopped the suffering.
And you could have stopped the suffering reveals you as well. I'm not saying allow someone to abuse your active services or you. Believers are to be spirit-led and we are to be Christ-like. None of which this video suggests. God will never permit beyond what can be endured. Not everyone Jesus met listened or changed their ways. If we have a preserver, toss it. So one, I want to, on the surface, agree with everything he says. Mm-hmm. This is great. I will say there's caveats. There are caveats. Yeah, I agree with practically everything he said.
To an extent.
Yeah, well, there's nuances. We want it to be binary, and this is not...
nothing is binary.
It's not comprehensive in all situations. But he said the nuance in it. He says it's got to be spirit-led. Mm-hmm. And so just to expound on that a little bit, Christians believe when they are born again, born into the family of God by faith in Christ, that they are indwelt with the Holy Spirit. What does that mean? That means there's a communion between you and God. Mm-hmm. And God will nudge you and guide you to act in certain situations which is resident with his will, which is to love people. So, but the rub is how to love somebody. So we talked a little bit about that earlier, acknowledging their needs and meeting their needs. But here's the deal. Sometimes helping people, sometimes helping people doesn't help.
And I agree.
Sometimes it just enables them to continue a very self-destructive pattern. That's not loving. That's not helpful.
Here's an exception that I think allows people to draw that line for themselves of when am I helping and when am I enabling, is something I've said. If my husband started talking mean to me and I didn't correct him, I would be doing him a disservice in this world because I don't think he wants to be a mean husband.
Yeah.
And other people in the world won't put up with it.
Yeah.
So if you let people treat you bad, that's a disservice to them. You're teaching them to be a worse person, and that's not going to fly with other people. So you allowing them that grace of, oh, well, my kid has been, a tyrant lately and has been coming back and forth and abusing our relationship. And there's a line where, are you helping them and helping come out of a problem? Or are you teaching them to be entitled or abusive?
Yeah. So I'm listening to you, and I think that's spot on. I'm processing what his comment was, and his comment was actually very good on multiple facets. One, he said, if you have a preserver and they're drowning, toss it. So I totally agree with that. There's something I studied. Somebody put this in the comments. There's a hierarchy of needs.
Mm-hmm. Maslow's.
Okay, yes.
Maslow's.
Okay, do you know what the list is?
The first one is like air, food, shelter.
Air.
Like it's like the very basic physical ones.
You're literally drowning. So if somebody's in that situation, they don't need a lecture on, well, how did you get in this situation? Well, did you think about this? Why didn't you do better planning? It's not the time.
I agree.
Yeah. So if somebody's in that situation, you just throw the preserver. You get them out of that. And once they're out of that emergency situation, then you can sit down and talk about, hey, let's have some reflection. And then if they're not willing to listen to that, you need to consider how much you continue to throw that preserver, because that's where the rub of that message comes in, or that cartoon spiel, is because it's saying they need the pain of that experience, which is the consequence of their choice. They need to link those. So then they go, you know what? The last time I made that choice, I endured a lot of pain. Maybe that's not the best choice. Because me and you can tell them all day long, hey, that's a stupid choice that's going to result in very unwanted consequences. Words sometimes just don't mesh with people. There's a section in Proverbs in the Bible that talks about it talks about how the wise person will take wise counsel. They'll take advice, and they'll learn from your mistakes or from your wisdom.
I was gonna say,
but let me just flip it. But then it right off the cuff, it says a fool, he needs stripes on his back. The fool is only going to learn by the pain of the situation. Some people say pain is God's megaphone to scream the message to you.
We were talking a long time ago about you raising your kids, and your oldest son, you were telling me, I do everything that would help me. I tell him how things work. I give him plans for success. I teach him how to maximize his potential. I keep telling him all the things that I know would help me.
Right.
And I said, do you think he thinks like you?
Right.
And you're like, well, no, he's the opposite. He's really floundering. I'm like, then why would something that would help you be what helps him?
Yeah.
And that's to say there's a spectrum of people. You could have 10 kids from the same people in the same circumstance. 3 of them are going to be positive reinforcement. 3 will be negative reinforcement. 2 will just do the right thing without any sort of reinforcement. And 2 will just flip tables, and you can't help it.
So true. She has no kids, but she could easily be a child psychologist.
I'm good with kids.
Or just a psychologist in general. She's Dr. Hannibal Lecter.
Now, something from Maslow's...
She just doesn't eat people that I know of.
Can't prove it.
But maybe her husband does, and she doesn't know it yet because she is concerned about...
Then the FBI is going to break in. You have to teach different people through different methods.
Yeah.
And a takeaway from Maslow's hierarchy of needs is something I think you would really love, but it's beyond what I think you've been exposed to on that concept, is on Maslow's hierarchy of needs, you have the primal needs.
She sounds very judgmental, don't she? It sounds kind of condescending.
No, because I think if you knew the end of the book, you would have led with it.
Oh, okay.
Darth Vader...
I haven't read the book.
And I haven't either.
Okay.
But I've heard enough people talk about it to where it's up here.
No,
I can't read.
If it matters, I am the one that brought it up.
Yeah, but Maslow's hierarchy of needs, there's the primal needs of survival, which is food, shelter, oxygen, temperature, and then it gets to comfort and access to engagement and social stuff.
Yeah.
But until you have the first chunk met, you basically have a primal fight or flight instinct brain, and you can't think of morality or social constructs.
Yeah.
And it makes it really hard for people to do the right thing.
Wow.
When they are fighting for survival.
Yeah.
So that's the whole point of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, is you have to meet these no matter what.
Yeah.
To have people even think of, I want to be a father, or I want to be a good brother.
Yeah.
Or I want to contribute to my job.
So I'll say, representing the right totally believes with that. Totally believes. If there's any scrutiny on any program that looks like it's trying to meet those needs, like food stamps, it's not that we want to stop that need. It's that we would just want to stop fraud, waste of people abusing the system, stealing from those limited resources that are going to the people who actually need it. Mm-hmm. So we are on the same branch.
I concur.
I say same branch. We're on the same page.
All right.
With an olive branch there. So
I was gonna say, I guess we're in the same branch of the family tree. I don't.
Let me be a little transparent. I'm not sure how much I've talked about this on the show. I do have a son, or my eldest son is in prison.
Mm-hmm.
He got a DUI manslaughter, horrible situation, doing 15 years. And bottom line, before that, he was actually practicing drugs, essentially a homeless drug addict vagrant for a few years before this transpired. And but we had gone through so many things trying to love him, trying to help him, and he would call us with the most horrific scenario. Hey, something other. But the bottom line, after many thousands of dollars to bail him out of some situation, paying actually a bailed attorney, but actual money to solve some complicated problem, multiple cell phones, multiple cars, multiple rehabs. We finally realized all we are doing is shielding him from the horrible consequences of his very self-destructive behavior. We want to help him. This does not help him. And we had to pull the emergency brake and just say, we're not doing this anymore. And that was so, as a parent, it's just the most horrible, powerless, awful feeling.
Yeah.
It's an awful situation. And this is coming from, I'll say, a man who, lack of a better way of saying it, is more callous. I can't even imagine how much turmoil this put my wife through. For her to have to come to the same conclusion and go, the best way to love him is to let him suffer. I mean, it's horrible. It's horrible. But there's a book we read called When Helping Hurts. And it's all these examples, weird, complicated examples of people with good intentions, wanting to love people who are in a very desperate situation, and then come to realize this doesn't help them. Mm-hmm. This hurts them. And so it's complicated. And it's back to what that guy said in the comments. I think we should be more spirit-led, and everything's not cookie cutter. Mm-hmm. You gotta look at the situation and do really what's best for them, not just what's best for you or what you feel you should do. I don't know. It's complicated.
The video, I would say, I agree with like 80%. Like, for the most part, but I understand there's nuance that it's not covering. Mm-hmm. Same thing with that response to it in the comments. I think it was pretty spot on, but their directive of how to proceed doesn't cover every nuance. Mm-hmm. So only Siths deal in absolutes. And I think that's one of the things the media does to...
Only Siths believe in absolutes? What is that?
Star Wars. A Sith is the evil Jedi. And they think, basically...
I quote Proverbs. She quotes Star Wars. Mm-hmm. But together, we got a lot of good information.
We got 2 books worth of information.
Star Wars is a book?
I don't know. It has books. But anyways, I think...
A Sith only believes in absolute. What does that even mean?
It talks about they draw the line in the sand and they're more willing to kill and not give grace because it's my way or the highway. Yeah. It's an anger, it's a fight for power. It's based out of anger and hate. Yeah. And they flip tables. That's why they're the evil guys. Yeah. Whereas Jedis give people grace. They try to help people out. They try to buy people more time.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, Jesus flipped tables, but that doesn't mean he's evil.
Only because he hated capitalism.
That is a stretch. It's not because he...
It's not capitalism. It's loan sharking, which is a heavy part of capitalism.
He did not like his father's house being turned into a den of thieves. People were robbing them inside of his father's house. So, separate matter, but We'll definitely hit capitalism versus socialism soon.
I think we should do that soon. Yeah, I think we should do that soon.
Okay.
I think that the political machine, the media, the government,
yeah,
I think they like to keep people divided
yeah,
and make it abortion, yes or no.
yeah.
I think everybody on both sides, I think you'd have like 95% would check the box rarely.
Well, I don't.
Which isn't a no.
Yeah.
But it's also not pro-abortion. But there are some medical situations, there are some social situations where even people who are staunchly anti-abortion would be like, well, maybe then. Or I guess I'd let them make that decision because it's something so extreme. I couldn't make that decision for someone else. So they don't pose it as rarely or wide open. They pose it as yes or no. And if you're on the other side, I hate you.
Yeah. So let me pull it back to the how we launched this. Do you have any comment about? Well, I guess so. I said the left focuses on the poor and powerless and making sure there's a safety net. That's like the main focus. It's not on the actual masses themselves. Like national security and the well-being. Do you think that's right and good, or do you think it's a hair lopsided, or do you feel good with the primary focus being on that?
Like I said, I think it's not as fringe as
right.
The right is cultured to believe.
Yeah.
And I do think I would rather our government focus on helping us and helping its people thrive than bombing brown people for money in other countries. 100%.
So, and technically, I profess to be a libertarian, even though I'm pretty conservative. I had people laugh at that statement because I'm pretty conservative and sound like a staunch Republican. But anyway, I do believe in maximum freedom, minimum government in general. But here's the rub, or where I was wanting to go. How do you don't you think the focus should not be on just a safety net, but also other resources allocated in that same world for stepping stones to help them get out of that,
I would say those are not mutually exclusive. And me saying I want the safety net doesn't mean I don't want accountability and help to make people independent. I would even say I want it more than you do.
Okay.
Because I'm pro funding public schools so that everyone gets a comprehensive baseline of information of how to exist in the world and move out and be independent. Because you can't trust 30 sets of parents to all do the right thing.
Yeah.
So I want everyone to have that information in school that they have to go to. Mm-hmm. And then when they get out, if they stumble or if they make mistakes mm-hmm. or if they have bad luck, they can get their Maslow's hierarchy of needs met mm-hmm. so that they can get back into.
What's funny is like you voiced, one reason why you chose to be childless is you didn't have confidence in yourself as in being a parent. I think you'd be an excellent parent. But you also don't believe other parents will be good parents. And you want the government to be the parent. Essentially, or you want the government to structure itself to fill those voids where the parents aren't doing it.
I want them to be fun Uncle Sam.
Yeah,
who can help out if your parents are having a fight again this weekend.
So it makes me think of our worldviews. If I didn't believe in God and if I didn't believe in God and didn't believe in the Holy Spirit and didn't believe in Christians walking in step with the Holy Spirit and being a light in a dark world and in their circle of life, feeding the poor and powerless. And of course, this is exactly what I'd want. I'd want our government to structure itself to fill those voids. I mean, it makes total sense.
Let me ask you a question.
It's good.
If you do believe in that concept,
yeah,
why don't you vote for that? Like, why wouldn't you say, if we have a system in place everyone's money gets pooled. What are we spending it on? Yeah, I'd like for them to do that because that's something I believe as a Christian. Why don't more people on the right who are Christian?
No, I don't really understand the question, because I would say I do vote like that. But what do you mean specifically? Or you mean more, why don't I believe in socialism? Is that what you're saying?
Like, why you seem to be anti-safety net a little bit, or anti-excessive safety net. Which just like abortion, I think if you ask the right and the left, do you agree with safety nets? It's not yes or no. It's rarely.
Yeah. I guess the rub is there's so many examples of the fraud and waste and abuse that, yeah, probably, and maybe wrongfully, I'm lopsided more towards like the video, hey, the suffering is good, let them suffer.
That actually goes very smoothly into the thing I brought to today's which it's not a cute little video with plagiarism.
Let me elaborate just a hair.
Go ahead.
Because and I may be just coming at it from my own perspective too much. It's kind of like you voiced the fallacy of my approach with my oldest son.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to love him as if I were him, meaning what would it take for me to respond? And if I had a father that told me all the things I was saying and setting up guardrails and whatnot, that would be what I need to step up. And it wasn't working with him. So likewise, when I say they should, I'm not scared of the suffering, or I'm not compassionate towards the suffering, probably because in my mind, I'm thinking if I was in that situation and if I suffered like that, I would get the hell out of there.
Mm-hmm.
I would respond and go, I'm not doing this. I'm not going to stay in this poverty. I'm going to do this, and I know what to do. I'm going to do this, and I will crawl my way out of this swamp. And to your point, there's some people who don't have that roadmap, who don't have that discipline, who don't have that dedication, who don't have that belief even in themselves to do that. So
I now want to add a tangent before we go to the thing that you just referenced that would make me go to my thing. To quote The Matrix, there is no spoon. When you say you would pull yourself out,
yeah,
it's quoting the autonomy and vigor and tenacity you would approach life with,
yeah,
and you wouldn't accept failure.
Right.
That is assuming people have a choice to get out of it. And the
I totally believe they have a choice.
Some do.
Yeah. Okay.
Not everyone does. If I told you I had a friend who was sexually assaulted this weekend, what's your first thoughts? What are your questions? What are your, oh my goodness?
Oh my goodness, what happened? I don't know.
What happened?
Yeah.
When people say, what was she wearing? Had she been drinking? Why didn't she go with friends? Why didn't she do this? That is blaming the victim, and it is lining up a lot of pins of ways you can control it so it won't happen to me. And this is an illusion of control that people have that isn't real.
Yeah.
Because no one can do anything to make me rape somebody.
Yeah.
There's nothing you could do. I believe that 100%. I would love to see the reality where I could be abusive like that.
Yeah. So
to say that she did 3% or 5% or 8% of the blame is saying to yourself, I will never experience that because I'll pull the right levers.
Yeah.
And that's a fallacy.
I want to say I disagree.
And that's not every circumstance, but I'm talking about the illusion of control is very hard for the human brain to not have. And you thinking everyone can pull themselves up by the bootstraps is inaccurate.
Okay, I hear you. I do think
it's a percentage, though.
I hear you. I do want to do a full disagreement but I appreciate what you're saying at the same time.
Okay.
There's several things. One, if a woman got raped by a man, regardless of the circumstances and how she contributed to the factor, he is definitely responsible for his actions, his wrongdoing, and then the condemnation of that act is full throttle, 100%, no doubt, no argument. At the same time, I will say, are there factors that contributed to her being in a predicament, in a situation that increased the likelihood of her being raped? Of course. Of course. Some people, hey, I don't go to bars, period. Some people, I go to bars frequently and I drink alcohol frequently. Do people slip Mickeys in drinks and then take them out to their car and do things? It happens. If you have a guardrail of I don't even go to bars, you just eliminated that whole possibility of a situation.
Of that situation.
Yes. So it's just an example.
And I will give a little bit of pushback. There is an art museum called What Was She Wearing? It has a toddler jumper. It has a burqa. And it goes through all the different people, and a chunk of them are outfits kids were wearing when they were molested or raped by family members. So there are people who go to bars and drink and don't take care of their social circle. And they kind of could have expected something bad happening from their lifestyle.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people who don't have a lever to pull.
Got you. So I will say this, you know, and this is interesting. We've talked about faith. Faith is defined in Hebrews 11:1. The faith is the assurance of things hoped for. It's the conviction of things not seen. If you look in the Bible, the just shall live by faith. There's salvation by grace through faith. Without faith, it's impossible to please God. Mm-hmm. People have faith actively. You have faith. I'm not saying necessarily in God, but you have faith in this couch holding us up. You have faith that this camera is going to record. You don't know it will. You think it will. You believe it will. It's a function of faith. And what I'm getting at is there's people who have faith in themselves and what they can do or what God is going to do in their life. Period. The bottom line, if you believe you will succeed, you probably will. If you believe you will fail, I guarantee you will. Because it's back to what we talk in this podcast all the time. It's confirmation bias. Mm-hmm. It's I found a penny. I'm lucky. That's what it is. If you believe I can't win, I always lose, they're out to get me, the system is rigged, I can't do it, then guess what? You are right. And you won't win. I guarantee you won't. But if you believe, you know what? Bring it.
Let me ask
Bring it. Let me finish. Bring it. Whatever this world throws at me, I will overcome it. Guess what? You will. You will. I will. You just got to believe that, choose that, and overcome it. Everything is not impossible. There's some things that are challenging. They're hard. It's not that it's impossible. You just don't know the way yet. You just got to figure out how to get over that wave. You're like, I'm drowning. Right. There is a technique where you can swim. There is a technique where you can do a back float and rest and still breathe. You just don't know it yet. Figure it out. Choose to do it. Choose to do the hard things. It's hard. It's difficult. It's scary. Yes. But you can do it. So
I would say one of my favorite quotes that I made myself is
original thought.
Original quote by Audra.
I love it.
There's nothing I can't do. There's just things I haven't done yet. And that's because I was raised to mentally believe I'm 10 foot tall and bulletproof. And I'm a beautiful princess who could be president someday. And my mom and dad brainwashed me into thinking my poop doesn't stink. And so I've never been insecure at school. I never thought I shouldn't talk or I shouldn't contribute.
Right.
There are people that had the exact opposite, if not 10,000 times worse. So I
Okay.
agree. Every
Okay.
person has the capacity
Yeah.
to really help their own situation.
Okay.
They don't have full control of it. They can only pull whatever levers they can, and there are some external forces they can't deal with. And that percentage is different for everybody. For me,
Yeah.
it might be 20% chance, 80% my own doing.
Yeah.
And some people may have 60-40 or,
Yeah.
or 90-10.
I
But
get.
if they don't have the mindset to get out of it,
Yeah.
if they've never been able to get out of it,
Yeah.
why would they think it's not going to happen?
Okay.
So there are people that don't have the levers, is what I'm saying. I think everyone should have levers, and I think technically they all do.
Yeah. So so let's have a little banter with it. I think the levers are there, they're just hidden. Okay? And my hope and encouragement for them is open your eyes and look around. There's some levers there that you just don't have.
Mm-hmm.
It makes me think of this as I've gotten older and I got a property to maintain and I've got a pool that constantly wants to say, "Yeah, I don't work anymore."
I was just kidding.
I've done surgery on pool pump motors, which was intimidating at first, but I'm like, you know what? I just got to learn this. I own a pool. I got to learn this. I mean, I really was thinking about, do I just get a bulldozer and put dirt in this hole in the ground? Because I can't maintain this. But I was like, no. And now it's like, I'm amazed that I can do all the things that I can do. That's just an example of life. Just figure it out. You have the capacity to do that. There's levers within your arm's reach. They're just hidden. They're invisible to you. Go find them. Talk to some friends. They'll show you how. Well, you just got to look here. It's underneath here. They're there. But in this conversation, you've made me realize part of the reason some of these people are blind to these levers is because they're drowning.
Mm-hmm. Their Maslow's hierarchy of needs aren't being met, so they're in survival mode. They can't think of the broader picture of what they can do.
And that literally hurts my heart. It literally strikes a chord and makes me convicted that I had a blind spot where I need to have really a lot of compassion, a lot of grace, that's where I need to come in, start throwing some preservers. I need to be open to that in my circle of life and not just think, oh, have some grit. Hey, pull up your bootstraps, get after it. No, they need a preserver.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's very convicting to me. You get this olive branch.
I can't do that.
Yeah.
Something you were saying before, talking about the social safety nets and stuff, and you said you may even overly emphasize the importance of the percentage of theft or
fraud. Waste. Yeah.
That goes into what I brought to the table, and I'll put a thing up.
Did you get my permission on this?
I didn't ask you a question.
Ooh.
One of the things in this goes over 36 different studies of different psychological studies on nature versus nurture, the physical brain, the social applications, but basically people who consider themselves extremely conservative or extremely liberal. These are the findings of those 36 studies.
How messed up are we? This makes sense because it is. I marvel. It seems like there would just be a scattered array. Hey, well, I do vote this way on abortion, but I vote this way on gun control. I vote. It seems like it'd be a mixture with people because people are so different. But no, they're always exact opposite.
I would say if we were given the option of instead of red or blue, or yes or no, percentage. How much of our money should go to Planned Parenthood? How much of our money should go?
0.
How much of our money should go? That's actually very bad. But how much of our money should go to wars? How much of our money should go to public schools?
Yeah.
To food access. Everyone could pick a percentage, But if you're only given the option yes or no, it's right or left. It's right or wrong. It's not.
Well,
I think most people would say.
Let me throw a dart at that right out of the gate. I don't think the average American, I don't think I'm qualified to understand on a national scale what type of money limitations for funding. You know, war is a great example. It sounds almost like, hey, why are we pumping all this money into a machine to kill people? That sounds very far from Christian values. But it's like our Secretary of War has said, Pete Hegseth, it's what is it? Something by strength.
Peace through strength.
Peace through strength. Are you a big Hegseth fan? How do you quote him so well?
I quote him like he quotes Pulp Fiction.
Does he quote Pulp Fiction?
He quoted a Bible verse that's not a real Bible verse. Samuel L. Jackson says it in Pulp Fiction as a Bible verse.
That has got to be a myth. There's no way.
The left has been creaming him about it.
All right, you're going to have to show me that or put that in a link below.
I will add that link in here so you can watch it.
And then I will follow up. Because I could see me quoting that as a joke, knowing that it's not actual Bible verse.
Let me tell you another segue.
I will say this.
We're 3 tangents deep.
Being a self-proclaimed, I feel leery to say I'm a Bible scholar, but I have studied the Bible some.
He dabbles.
When I first watched Pulp Fiction, and yes, I'm a Christian, I've seen Pulp Fiction. Watch it on VidAngel. It'll cut the movie down to about 17 minutes. But anyway, I was marveled. I was like, does the Bible really say that? I just assumed it did. And I was like, that sounds intense. But I looked it up and yeah, it doesn't. Anyway.
I will add the clip of him saying that and then the quote from Pulp Fiction and how he was quoting Pulp Fiction and not the Bible.
I bet he was doing it as a joke. If he actually did it. But it's probably AI. Don't believe everything on the internets.
That sounds like some cognitive dissonance and confirmation bias, Eric.
Yes, it does.
There's valid reasons.
Probably is.
And if there's not valid reasons, it's fake.
You are seeing my cognitive dissonance.
Real time.
You know what? It probably is. You know what? Why do we do that? Listen, as a Christian, Jesus is Lord. I'm loyal to God. Am I a patriot? Yeah. Do I love America? Of course. But when it comes to a hierarchy of loyalty, that is a very distant second, third, or 12th to
family.
I'm going to say first with my loyalty to God. And the deal is, if anybody is misquoting Scripture, essentially misrepresenting God's will, I should denounce that immediately. So let me calm down and let me say, if anybody is misrepresenting God, I condemn that saying wholeheartedly.
Eric, I agree.
Your olive branch is hidden behind the thing. Okay. We're getting so much better at this. You didn't even throw it at me.
Really tried.
I don't have injuries on that transaction.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Side tangent.
Smells like
last one,
plastic.
and then I'll get to the stupid article I have.
No, it's actually, I'm curious.
It's pretty interesting. Some of them will just glaze over. I'll link it so everyone can look through it. And then this article links to all 36 studies. So you can deep dive as much as you want to. I've already poked around a little bit. There's a TV show called The Boys.
I haven't heard of it.
It's offensive so much. Audra loves it. It doesn't bother me how offensive it is, but every time I think, this is so good, it's so well made, I want to make Eric watch it.
Well, when you say offensive, does that mean just crude? Does it mean...
The Aquaman character has a sexual relationship with an octopus that's on screen. There is rape. There's people's bodies exploding. People say the F word all the time. It's so...
Faith?
Close.
That's what she calls the F word.
So... There's a lot of, every time I'm like, I just wish I could push this out to everybody. Then I watched the next scene and I'm like, yeah, that's not going to be taken well by a chunk of my friends.
So it's just a little, I'll say crude. It's not.
It's beyond.
It's beyond crude. It's excessively crude.
Excessively crude.
Okay.
And the longer the show's gone, the more they're just going off the rails with it. Just
pushing the limits, pushing the envelope.
This year, they were doing Homelander is he's like the Superman in this universe. He, spoiler alert, watch The Boys if you're going to watch it. But this year, Homelander basically was going to use his ultimate power to take over the United States and basically be ruler of the world. And he started superimposing himself as the figurehead for Jesus. And literally, there were 2 times where this year, when the episode was about to drop, like the week or 2 before, he said he is now going to be the new second coming and he's going to be the person of Jesus. Literally 2 weeks or a week before that, Trump posted the picture of him being Jesus healing somebody in a hospital. And the writer was like, you have no idea how much I stressed about, is this too far? What's the nuance? What's the word choice? How do I make this funny? How do I make this hit? And then the world did it for me. And then my joke looked like it was copying something else. And there's another thing where Homelander has a huge golden statue of himself. Trump did it first before the episode dropped. They're like, I wrote that 6 years ago.
Wow.
I filmed it I filmed it last year.
Wow.
But Trump just put a gold statue of himself.
Yeah.
You can't out-satire the world right now.
Yeah. How does that is a beast of a topic in and of itself that probably is definitely worth some attention. But how does that tie to our personalities left and right and all that?
I don't remember why I brought this topic up.
But it's a very good topic.
It's in there. There was a time 20 minutes ago when I was like, ooh, third tangent.
Are you a big Hegseth fan? How do you quote him so well?
I quote him like he quotes Pulp Fiction.
Does he quote Pulp Fiction?
He quoted a Bible verse that's not a real Bible verse. Samuel Jackson says it in Pulp Fiction as a Bible verse.
That has got to be a myth.
There's
no way.
The left has been creaming him about it. You'll see what got my train of thought going here.
Hey, what streaming service?
Amazon Prime.
Amazon Prime for The Boys.
Your oldest or your 18-year-old son, he would love it.
I don't know that I want to encourage that.
It's not. It talks about the extremes of different politics, and it talks about how people in power use those extremes versus the standard people to maintain power. And if people had superpowers, would they really be all good? Or what would they do when they could literally change the weave of reality? Yeah. Anyways, it's pretty good.
Hey, small tangent. If you had any superpower, what would you have and how would you use it?
I don't have a good answer.
You don't have a good answer?
One of the things I've said is I would pick the power of flight because Audra is scared of heights. So that would cure me of one of my inhibitions.
Yeah. Let me do this. Let me tweak it because so many people have multiple superpowers. What if you had one superpower, maximum strength, a second superpower, medium strength, and then a third superpower, small strength? Go.
The big superpower, biggest strength, impose empathy.
Dang.
I force people to have the perspective they're against and feel it for a moment. So when they get back in their own thoughts and feelings, then they're like, okay, there is another side. Like, not just hear that there's another side, but feel it for a second.
Yeah.
Have that perspective of the other person.
Yeah.
I would like to impose that temporarily. Not like make everyone think the same or anything. But like, I think that would be really good. Imposed empathy. And second would be flight. And third, maybe super speed. Which is funny because I'm so lazy. I don't do things at normal speed.
Especially with your little T-Rex arms.
Maybe pausing time. So it's a form of super speed, but
oh, wow.
So I could play video games for 8 hours. But it'd really be 20 minutes and I look like a responsible adult.
Technically, if you could pause time, it would be 0 minutes.
I know, the game wouldn't load. And I would just be sitting there like, why? All right, Eric, I answered for you. What superpowers do you want?
All right. I bet I'm going to regret this. But this is hypothetical. This isn't for real, right? Are we really getting superpowers?
Not today.
Okay. I think my maximum superpower is going to be invulnerability. So nobody can hurt me. I'm like the Incredible Hulk. So if it's my max superpower, so you just can't kill me. And so you can't even drown me. You can't stop me. So this I'll go to the third superpower, the weakest power. The weakest power is, I think it's going to be telepathy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that means I can read people's minds. So if it's my weakest power, I can't control their mind, but I can read their mind. If it's the weakest power, maybe I don't have all the information, but I can definitely sense if they're being deceitful or if they're lying. I can just tell, like always.
Mm-hmm.
And then my medium superpower, do you know what it is?
Telekinesis?
It's a very good guess. That's probably my second pick to this, but I'm going to go with healing. I could heal people. Let me tell you how I'd use it. I would scour the world and go into some very dark, bad places and try to rescue the poor and powerless, essentially those that have been stolen into sex slavery.
Mm-hmm.
And I would use the telepathy to find out where they are. Mm-hmm. and to read, oh, this is where they're hiding them, this is what they're doing, they're lying to me, and I would use that to find them, use my invulnerability to safeguard myself when I get shot, and then I would use my healing to heal people. I guess medium, I almost thought about doing full power healing, but it would be enough to get them started healing and they could fully recover over time. And maybe my healing isn't just physical, maybe it's emotional, spiritual, mm-hmm. all of it. So anyway, this does take me back. I'm having a flashback. I did have an original thought.
Not you.
Yeah, when I was, I think, a senior in high school, I came up with an original thought. I don't even know how I came up with this. It's just like this, but it was a spin off of SNL because they used to do Deep Thoughts
with Jack Handy.
By Jack Handy. So I said Deep Thoughts by Eric Schull. If you could read the minds of all your friends, you'd be laughing all day, but you would soon come to find out you don't have many friends. So it's pretty deep, mm-hmm. but that's a spin-off, and it would be hard. A lot of people think they would like to be able to read people's minds. I don't know that you do, because you would find out the thought process of people is kind of scary. Mm-hmm. If you think of all your own personal thoughts and that where it wanders, and Scripture teaches to take your thoughts captive, pull them back, an open mind is good. So is an open window, but you keep a screen on it to keep the bugs out. You got to control your stinking thinking. But anyway, where were we going with this? We're talking about superpowers.
I don't know why you brought up superpowers. Because we talked about The Boys.
Okay, that's what it was. All right, let's pull it back to this.
So here's the article that's been up here for like 45 minutes now.
Yeah.
We haven't addressed it at all. It is... Oh... 9 hours ago, when you were talking about you may improperly put more weight on the fraud than is necessary, mm-hmm. or is valid based on the percentages and stuff, mm-hmm. that's in this article.
Okay.
They talk about I'll make the article a little bit bigger. We can still see ourselves.
So you're saying I have a disease that keeps me from caring about the poor and powerless?
The only cure is more cowbell. Yes. No, you have a predisposition, which is why you are consider yourself conservative. Mm. It's one of the many factors of the physiological setup of your brain and the social environment and how you think and react to stuff.
Yeah.
We'll skim through.
Let me tell you my quick thought. My quick take on it is if they're examining activity in the brain, it's almost like, is this correlation or causation? The deal is, you look at somebody who's strong versus somebody that's weak, and then they do, scientifically it shows all these people that are strong, they have big biceps, they have big muscles. Is that correlation or causation? You know what I'm saying? The deal is that causing them to think that way, or is that just what happens when they do think that way, and they think that way because of other reasons?
And that is fair.
Okay.
Two phrases that I've heard are the neurons that fire together or wire together, fire together. Mm-hmm. And you can repave pathways in your brain to have instincts and feelings and different stuff.
Yeah.
Also, if you don't use it, lose it. You lose it.
Yes.
And both of those are extreme simplifications of real thought processes. Sure. Well, so it's hard to say if it's an infant, if we scan 30 babies and then 20 years later, could we tell which ones were going to be conservative or liberal?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I like that.
And in general, it seems like liberals tolerate uncertainty and novelty higher and even value it some, whereas conservatives don't like uncertainty and they don't like things going out of the norm. And that's
right. And then let me tell you how I would articulate that. Mm-hmm. It's, I think the right is more about self-responsibility, self-independence, not relying on the government, me being in responsible and in control for the well-being of my family. I'm not waiting on the government to save me. I'm going to provide for my family, and so that's just what I'm going to do. So it's not that there's structure there that requires discipline, that requires good practices, good financial management, all the things. Yeah, so I guess we don't tolerate uncertainty. We want structure, whereas people on the other side, I wouldn't say that it's that they tolerate uncertainty. It's that they, it's almost they endure uncertainty. There's a chaos there, but they're so focused on getting full freedom and with no accountability, not no accountability, but lack of accountability, like full freedom to do whatever, that instead of them saying, hey, I need to buckle down and I need to get my act together, they want to just point the finger and say, no, that rich man has too much. He needs to give up his stuff. And I'm going to judge him. He's greedy. He's this. He needs to change. I'm not changing. I want to have the full freedom to do whatever the heck I want, which is nothing. I'm exaggerating for effect, but I don't know. It's just totally different mindsets. Like, I'm not wanting anybody to change for my well-being. I'm going to make sure my home front is taken care of, period. Whereas others, like our liberal brother the other day, he didn't say anything about what he wanted to change or what he was going to change to make sure his family was taken care of. He voiced how all these evil, rich losers are just contaminating the world and how they need to change. And yeah, I just totally, the root of all conflict comes from unmet expectations. To me, that is a bad expectation. He can't change them. He's not going to change them. The only thing that he can change is himself. He can't even change his family. He can't change his kids. He can't change his wife. He can only change himself, which will impact the dynamics in his household.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what I'm trying to practice. I'm thinking, what can I impact directly? And so I'm reallocating my thoughts, my knowledge, my resources on what I can impact. And I do think if everybody did that, this world would get cleaned up pretty fast.
I will say, I don't know if this is an olive branch moment.
Okay.
But I will say.
Oh, you're just gonna hold it up and tease me with it?
Yeah, I don't know if it counts. I also have that in me to where I feel like I'm 10 foot tall and bulletproof. I can handle whatever comes to me. There isn't a problem that's gonna overcome me. I have that in me.
Yeah.
I also think, like our brother thinks, that the system is rigged.
Yeah.
And I think conservatives in general, and you specifically, we've talked about the illusion of control. Mm-hmm. That people need that because if things were just chaotic and there's just a 20% chance you're going to get sexually assaulted, with or without any input or buy-in or error on your part, if you had that sort of, no, you have to think you can control it. Otherwise, the world's too scary and it's too hard for your little monkey brain to comprehend. Not yours, the human monkey brain.
Yeah.
But I do think the system is rigged. And there's only so much you can control when the first two people in the assembly line take 80% of the product. Then,
Yeah.
You have to make checks and balances to where if the game has a loophole, there aren't three people exploiting it. But we'll talk about that in the communism versus capitalism discussion.
Yeah.
But in general, Audra does agree with you. In personal autonomy, I'm very big proponent of it.
Well, then I'm giving you an olive branch.
Why, thank you. So that's saying that conservatives in general...
They're more disciplined.
They also are less likely to change their opinion.
I disagree.
Brain responses, and this goes back to that time travel video from Ryan George. Brain responses to a disgusting image are sufficient to make accurate predictions about an individual's political ideology. Conservatives have a stronger and more longer-lasting reaction to fear and disgust.
What do you mean?
A liberal can watch The Boys and see a guy have coitus with an octopus, and the F-bomb dropped all the time, and it's not my lifestyle.
Yeah.
But I can see a point of view and not adopt it. I can watch something that's totally outside the realm of what I would do and appreciate it for being something different and not be like, that's wrong. I can't watch that because it has this language or this nudity or this violence.
Yeah.
I can watch it and just know that's a different form of art out there. It's a different lifestyle than I do. Whereas conservatives have the right and wrong reaction.
Yeah. And
they more strongly see stuff and draw the line in the sand if that's bad. And they get a stronger and longer lasting reaction to negative images.
Yeah. Now I will say there's definitely an obvious, a glaring, obvious factor in the Christian world. I know it's very prevalent in the Christian world to not contaminate your mind. You don't want to contaminate your mind. You don't want to drop seeds of, like, hey, I don't watch rated R movies, or if somebody says that, I watch Pulp Fiction, so I do. But I do think I'm a lot more left than some of the conservative people that I'm in circles with.
Yeah.
And I feel like I have the tolerance to do what you're saying. I can see that without the temptation of adopting it. But sometimes that can be, you can fool yourself into thinking that.
Yeah.
On an extreme example, like Ted Bundy, who's like the world's most infamous rapist, murderer, probably than anybody. But he started out with basic pornography, and then it evolved to abusive.
It evolved how it ended
it evolved into violent,
mm-hmm.
violent situations, violent pornography, essentially. And then it got to the point where watching it was not enough satisfaction. He actually had to live it, and so he was the world's worst monster, but he didn't start out the world's worst monster. It started with bite sizes, and it grew. So essentially that's an example of Christians want to make sure that they don't plant seeds that will grow into something that they don't want. So that's why they refrain from nudity and really, violence, drugs, profanity. All those things are bad staples that you really won't remove from any type of regular entertainment. So that being said, to me that's what's obvious about that is no, they're intentionally trying to remove that from their absorption.
Yeah.
I've heard the example.
Well, and just to clarify, what they're saying is conservative brains fixate on negative things longer.
Well, right, because your
tolerance.
Well, or intolerance mm-hmm. to those things because they're considered bad things.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I've heard this example about watching TV shows that have vulgarity of whatever flavor. It's like a mom making a batch of cookies, and she says, "Hey, those are chocolate chip cookies. They're delicious. There is a little bit of poop in them, just a little bit. It's not too much. Don't worry about it." That in itself is probably enough for most people to go, "I'm not eating your poopy cookies." But you can trivialize it all you want. It's just a little bit. You won't taste it at all.
Yeah.
You won't even know it's there. Those are the type of arguments that most people say about movies or TV shows. But deep down, it's still going to contaminate. It's still going to bring in either bacteria or something that's going to be harmful. Even though you don't taste it, you don't notice it. That's the type of argument or concern. So the deal is they're trained to watch out for that and that's a concern. That's, toxic. So to me, it makes sense for them to be intolerant of it.
I have 2 points.
Yeah.
One, I have a best friend who is a food scientist, and he will tell you there is a legal threshold for how much rat feces and bugs are allowed to be in the food in the United States. It's not a 0.
Oh man, that's horrible information.
You're welcome.
That is horrible information.
The second thing is, I think Ted Bundy has. I'm sure there's.
If you say a bad rap,
You're the one that told me maybe Hitler was okay. Anyways.
I said there was a conspiracy theory that alludes to that.
I don't think Ted Bundy was cool.
Which is interesting. Huh?
I don't think Ted Bundy was cool. What I'm saying is, I think Ted Bundy had, and who's to say what percentage was nature versus nurture? Mm-hmm. But I think he had a psychological addiction that only snowballed.
Yeah.
And
right. And that's the whole point.
I'll do a link to this. Adam Ruins Everything talks about drug use. And back in the day when they talked about marijuana being a gateway drug, mm-hmm. I was like, 80% of people who try marijuana don't keep doing marijuana. It's a very small amount of people that not only keep doing drugs, but then nosedive into harder stuff. Mm-hmm. And I think that's Ted Bundy.
Yeah.
There was some dopamine, misfire.
Right.
That he kept focusing and nurturing into being a bigger and bigger thing.
Yeah.
Whereas most people can watch porn or smoke marijuana and walk away from it.
So I totally agree. I'll say olive branch again. Man, I'm just you're rocking it up with some olive branches. I think to me, everybody needs to understand who they are mm-hmm. and what their strengths are and what their weaknesses are. And I like the quote attributed to C.S. Lewis, You do not have a soul. You are a soul. You have a body. And the deal is, this avatar, you need to learn everything about this avatar that your soul resides in and understand its strengths, weaknesses, its limitations, and it's prone to addiction. And there's some people who can have a beer and they're fine. And there's some people, if they have one beer, they're having 21
They just
beers.
lost 4 years of their life.
Yeah. And yeah, because they're going to jail. For what? So
yeah,
life's not fair. It's not. I think the faster we embrace that, what you'll realize is it's not fair. There's other people that have a far greater advantage than you, but rather than respond to that and just pout and complain, realize where your life is unfair to your advantage. You have strengths that thousands, if not millions, of people on the planet would that covet and wish they had that. They wish they had that. Use it. Use it. Use it not only for you to bask in your own glory and your own comfort, but use it to then love others and empower others and make others' life better. That life's not fair. So
I agree.
Yeah, cool.
You will never be able to control the things you can't control, but you can always control the things you can't control. If I show rage bait, conservatives react stronger to it, and it stays with them longer. The war against trans people, like, it's not really a problem. But if you tell people, what about this extreme example that could be a problem? They're like, yeah, we should ban everybody from being alive. You know, or whatever. Like, it's just a more extreme attachment to the fear than is there really that much fraud in social services?
Yeah. I guess this is just my opinion. I just don't think it's a physical thing. I think this is correlation, not causation. I think anybody has the ability to navigate their life. Like, I think everybody has the ability to be left wing and right wing at the same time. They could, I could go far left. If you're left, you could go far right. I don't think you're physically limited to that. All this is doing, in my opinion, is showing how the rut that you've gotten into, which is just another way of analyzing confirmation bias, cognitive dissonance, echo chambers, all the things like you're saying, the wiring, the synapses, connecting the dots in your brain, and then use it or lose it, and then other stuff dissolving. So over time, you just get into a rut and become who you are. Can you pull yourself out of that rut? I'll say heck yes, and maybe it's anecdotal, but yeah, me, I can. The whole reason I'm wanting to do this show is because I felt like I was in a rut, and I'm not seeing things right. And the reason I felt like I wasn't seeing things right is because other people were seeing me incorrectly. I know if you're looking at me and you're saying he's incompetent or he's evil, you are wrong. And I know that's not right. And I felt comfortable saying that about other people. But when I realized what they're saying of me is incorrect, it made me have to realize maybe my opinion of them is incorrect. Well, how did we get here? What's going on? And these conversations are helping me get it out of the ditch and get back onto the road. But I don't want to snap it so far hard that I go to the other ditch. I'm trying to get it in the middle of the road.
Yeah. So. You say people right of center politically spend more time looking at unpleasant images. And people left of center politically spend more time looking at pleasant images.
What?
Conservatives...
because it's an entertainment into a world outside of theirs?
I don't know.
Because I will say this, I've thought it weird for me to like the two shows come to mind that I watched that like, why would I watch this? One is, have I mentioned this before?
SVU?
Special Victims Unit. Why in the world? I abhor this. I abhor sexually assaulted situations. And but I think I like the reason I like it is because the whole show is about justice in those situations. So, okay. But another is Hoarders. Why would I watch Hoarders? That is such a messed up, jacked up show, and I live in a very clean, organized home, and I like that structure, and would not like that structure at all. I don't know. I guess it just takes me to the opposite extreme, and I'm like, I don't know. I don't even know why. Why? Tell me, psychoanalyze me. Why do I like Hoarders? But like everybody likes to stop and gawk at a car wreck too.
Yeah.
Why?
It's your brain problem solving things that are scary to you.
Yeah.
It's the same. And I joke, I am predisposed to have my affliction or adoration or consumption need of true crime.
Yeah.
Because I'm a middle-aged white woman. Middle class, middle-aged white woman. I know the world isn't safe or fair, but I'm comfortable enough to know it's not really happening right here. But I still have the feeling of insecurity, of fairness, of virtue, of, so watching the problems play out and thinking, oh, I wouldn't have done that. Why didn't they ask that question? How come they didn't look into this? I'm doing the illusion of control and thinking that would never happen to me. And it's a way to reassure your brain things do have a pattern. I can win the game. Things do make sense. But that's like an anomaly that people in my demographic love true crime.
Yeah. Because
we're comfortable enough to not have outside stressors. So our brain needs outside stressors to process.
Wow, that's interesting.
Your brain's just trying to figure things out.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's something that the right tend to fixate and overweigh the value of negativity. And the left fixate and overvalue positivity. So if we talk about trans people, I don't think anything negative at all. And you may think, well, there's these cases of sports where this person cheated, and there's this, what if it was a person in a bathroom? That's never happened. I don't care. What if they grew wings and flew and punched me in the face?
No.
Also hasn't happened.
There's cases of women being assaulted because somebody said that they identified as a trans woman and assaulted them. There's cases of that.
And it goes through, conservatives are worse at distinguishing truths and falsehoods than liberals. So if you have
I don't think that's true.
So the article keeps going. There's more examples of like specific things that conservatives and liberals react differently to, even though it's the same stimulus. It keeps going, but this kind of goes through the science and the social science of how liberal and conservative brains are different. So there's a lot of just things that come up when you're talking about stuff or I'm talking about stuff. It makes me think of this because I read parts of it like a long time ago, and I've heard people discuss it. But yeah, people can have the link. They can look into it.
Yeah.
We've already talked about a lot of this ad nauseum.
I may just have bad attitude, but I think it's just correlation, not causation. I think anybody still has the freedom to get out of whatever rut they're in, and change and shift. So what is your takeaway from all that? Like,
I think there are some people that can.
Yeah.
And I think some people have a higher percentage of nature, and nurture affects them less.
Okay.
And vice versa. And vice versa.
I think that's a fair statement. Yeah. But
it's on a spectrum.
So just because it's hard though doesn't mean it's not possible
for most people.
But some people may have it hard, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean it's impossible. So you can still work at it. You can still navigate through that and get out of that rut. So that's what I'm just wanting to emphasize.
Yeah, there's a percentage of your life you can change, and it may not be 100%, but you can always improve it.
Like me, I'm intentionally trying to pull out of a rut to make sure I'm more balanced. And I think this process, as painful and uncomfortable as it is, I think it's a healthy process to help me become a better version of myself. So I'm willing to do it.
I'm really glad that you suggested this. And I do think it is a good exercise for us as people, individuals. And I think it's a good opportunity for other people to see from an outside vantage point, and then factor in how similar are these arguments in my life and what could I do better or worse in the same instances. I do think we listened and we learned and we're better for it.
Amen. Hey, people are more important than politics, my friend. Let's act like it. Hey, if you have an example of somebody in your circle of life that I'll say blacklisted, or hey, I do not broach the topics of politics with, if you've been encouraged to enter it with grace, with humility, with respect, you've tried that, it got a little tumultuous, but you still got through it and nobody got injured or arrested. And it's a good, story of, hey, you got to win this time. Share that story. Add a little blurb there. I'd love to see that, and then we may echo it in a subsequent episode.